Okay, so we have just finished the Knicks versus Magic, and the Knicks win in decisive fashion. Something to keep in mind about the Knicks is, again, we did not score as well in the third quarter. Something to keep in mind for the Knicks because, based off my research, they seem to do that most of the time. Randle led the Knicks in points, 21. 9 of 16 shooting, not bad, over 50%. And Franz Wagner, we did some research on him, and he came out shooting pretty well. Let's see, rebounds. Julius Randle had 10 rebounds, so he had a double-double, very cool. And he had 7 assists, not too bad. Jalen Suggs, the rookie, had 8 assists, which is interesting because it's a rookie. He's a rookie point guard, and he already had 8 assists. Knicks, amazing shooting, 50% from the free throw. 50% from the floor, 44% from three. There was a point where we were hitting, hitting threes, and everyone was just hitting threes. But we'll get more into that when I can kind of freeform talk. Orlando turned the ball over, which was really good. Knicks over double digits in turnovers, so we got to do our best to get to single digits. And we were out rebounded by the Magic, so something to keep in mind. A little bit of some info here as you take a look. Shot chart for the Knicks over here. A lot of shots inside compared to the Magic. They had 100% attendance. Knicks now 2-0. We have won. Sorry, everybody. We're undefeated. Very interesting. Boston's lost. Orlando. So not too bad. I want to quickly look at the box score. See who did what. 50%. 44% from three. Not bad. Randle 2 for 6 from three. There were maybe 2 shots he kind of didn't need to take. And he missed 2 free throws, too. What did...
Burks to find him. Was having trouble from the free throw line.
Sorry, guys. I want to see what RJ did. 7 points. Oof. I'm hoping that he kind of finds his way. Probably towards December, he can start. Alec Burks. Huge. Obi Toppin, huge. Fantastic work.
Look where Randle is.
Fantastic work. Everybody really put in. Even Mitch, too. Mitch, although a little worried because he kept falling everywhere. And everybody for them chipped in, too. All their starters. There was a point in the third quarter where all they were doing was draining threes. And I think it's because they had good momentum and youth, but they don't have veteran leadership. They don't have a closer yet. They don't have an identity. They're just a team with a bunch of players who are learning to gel together. 39% from the field, 39% from three-point line. But they made the free throws, which is good. I want to see 18. They did have 18 turnovers, 24 assists to our 34 assists, which is really good. Who led the... Alec Burks had 7 assists in 18 minutes. Not bad. D. Rose had 7, and Julius Randle had 7. Kemba, we'll talk once we get into stats, but there's some tweaks I think we could make with Kemba to see what happens. And here you go, a little bit of stats dump for you guys. 4 blocks for the Knicks. Not bad, even with Mitch on the floor. We stole the ball 10 times. Really good. I think this is how you beat teams like this. 34 points was our largest lead. 3 points was their largest lead. So we beat them. And only 1 technical foul. 19 fouls, but only 1 tech. Not bad. Fast break points. Points in the paint. Even. Interesting. Very interesting. So it was a pretty interesting game overall. I think IQ came out pretty good. He seemed a little bit timid in some cases. And I think there's moments where the Knicks, what they do is if it's not a pick and roll, if it's not a pick, it's an isolation. If it's not an ISO play, it's a pick. And I think teams will sniff that out at some point. So the Knicks really need to be careful with that. I think Julius Randle is building a really good rapport with Evan Fournier, which is really good for them. Randle needs his second, someone that he can kind of trust. He had that with Reggie, and now it looks like this is what's happening with him. I would like if maybe Kemba would maybe accept being a facilitator first. Facilitating. His shot's a little interesting. He shoots and it hangs in the air for a while. But Kemba will have his nice. Kemba will move. Kemba will move well. He will have to adjust, I think, after watching him today. Just adjust in the sense that you don't need to save us with your shot. That's something I think when we look as the season kind of goes, how he progresses, don't save us with your shot because Julius Randle is our savior. Aid us so that this way we can get better makes, get better looks, or eventually get to Julius, who can get a better shot instead of having to go into an isolation play all the time with his one-on-one defender, with his defender, even though he wouldn't mind doing that. It's you don't want to wear and tear because these guys are playing a lot of minutes, and when it comes time to going further into the season, you know, the Iron Man, he'll be the Iron Man, which is cool. But the playoffs is one team, seeing them multiple times. I thought Obi had a lot of energy, high energy. Alec Burks brought really well with the assist game. RJ didn't really score a lot, but I think he wants to establish his defense first, let his offense kind of come to him, which is why I'm not too afraid. If you notice the point guard setup, Derrick Rose moves really well. Derrick Rose, I wasn't too concerned about a regression, but he still moves well. His shot looked nice overall, and IQ seems to be learning well from him. D Rose moved, and really when the Magic were kind of starting to make their shots and Terrence Ross was making all those weird looking shots and they were getting a nice little run in, D Rose was there and quelled everything, and everything kind of came back down. We got off that ledge and we came right back down. IQ looked great. D Rose looked great. Kemba, maybe not as great, but he's still trying to find his footing, his identity. Obi looked fantastic. And what's cool is something to note as we end this is the rookies. Grimes and McBride came out and they played defense, and I liked their hustle on defense, which I thought was really, really interesting. So that's my take. I think it's a solid win, an expected win, a win that was much needed, and a beating like this is definitely something that you can look forward to as long as this team gels and works well with each other.